The subject that I want to talk about is collaborating to achieve needed election reform in Florida. Collaborating for basically election reform in Florida and how we need to really work hard in going forward over the next year to better collaborate in order to get the election reform that we need to be able to have fair elections in the state of Florida. My name is General Mike Flynn, and for those that know or don't know, I've been going all over the country talking about election reform and talking about how we have to have local action in order to have that national impact to be able to cause our communities to come together and make the necessary changes that need to be made. The type of training we're talking about, we call it tech transparency, eligibility, and controls. And in the training, we will give out not only the training, and we'll talk about the kind of how-to stuff and the do's and don'ts of things to follow through on. We'll also leave those who are trained with brochures and other materials and points of contact back to the people that are part of Defend Florida, the organization Defend Florida, to be able to reach back out to them in case you have any questions that might come up after the training ends. One of the things that we want to talk about is, we will do this, and we'll spend quite a bit of time on this, is engaging legislators. I will tell you, having been and served in the military at different levels of command and being a very senior guy, it's hard to work your way up the chain of command in order to get to the boss to say, man, doesn't the boss realize this? Or we got to get this information to the boss. And sometimes it takes a little bit of discipline and persistence. You got to be persistent. So we want to talk about engaging legislators, because sometimes you pick up a phone, you call their office, you send them an email, and you don't hear anything back. That doesn't mean quit. It doesn't mean stop. And so what we will train on is how to engage, the different ways that work, the different means by which you would use to engage your legislatures, not only members of the House of Representatives at the federal level, but also just your state representatives and also local representatives in your counties. Really super important. So we're going to train on how to engage. The second part of this is really, and for me, it's be prepared. So you can't just go in and wing this stuff, right? You can't go in because you're upset about something or you read some headline or somebody stopped you from doing something and they didn't really explain to you exactly why they stopped you. You have to go back and you have to prepare. Because if I'm going to give you time, like let's just say I'm a member of the House or I'm in a big government position, and you come into me and you start yelling at me or start arguing with me about something, I'm like, well, what are you arguing about? And you're like, well, you're not really prepared. In order to use the time wisely of those you want to engage, you have to take the time to prepare for that meeting to be successful, to have a successful outcome, not only for you, but also for the legislator, because the legislator is going to be thinking about how can I use this to benefit not just you, the individual that's in there arguing the point, but how can we use this to benefit all of the constituents that they have to, that they're responsible for. And then the last part is also how to collaborate and who to collaborate with. And I think that those are important components of things that people just take for granted. Just because we have friends, so we talk to somebody about something and we think that they understand it. Understanding is that, getting somebody to understand an issue that's not simple, that in some cases can be very complex, especially some of this legislative stuff, especially stuff related to our elections. There's so much confusion out there. So what I'm asking people to do is think about participating in this training with Defend Florida. In order to get in touch with the right people, go to defendflorida.org, defendflorida.org, or text DEFEND to 91776. Text DEFEND to 91776. And again, they'll touch on narratives, on neighbors not being your enemy, talk about some of the issues that I talk about in the Fifth Generation Warfare book that we have out there. Identifying good leaders in communities. This idea about a shadow government, what does that mean? The idea that it takes a network to defeat a network, meaning that we have to come together, we have to work together, we have to collaborate, we have to build and thicken the network that we have in our communities in order to spread the ideas, the skills, and the talents out through a wider community. And then we have to really figure out how to mobilize volunteers and then generate the enthusiasm that we need in order to keep the momentum going. Everybody knows we have to fix our election system and processes. We have to. And that's every county, every state in this country. And here in Florida, we have to do the same thing. So go to defendflorida.org or text DEFEND at 9-1776. Text DEFEND at 9-1776 and get involved in this training today. It's so important for our country. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you.